You're listening to Dubstep and Dragons, a D&D 5e actual play podcast with a cyberpunk...
Hey, Norse.
Hey,
Again.
what's up, Alphonse?
I
Every
cannot believe you weaponized Grandma.
Weaponized Grandma! Yee!
Woo, woo,
Oh
woo!
my god, that's so loud.
That was really loud.
Wow.
But Grandma's weaponized.
Yeah.
Sorry. I really like my
She's
grandma.
deadly now.
I'm very excited.
I don't know if any of the listeners have heard yet the cyberpunk twist part. Anyway, this has cyberpunk in it. My name is Matthew, and I will be your game master.
I am Alphonse. My name is Dan.
You almost forgot your real name there, didn't you?
No,
Oh, okay.
Just decided
Different,
to switch it up.
just mixing it up.
Gotcha. Well, I'm Luke. I'll be playing Ash.
And I'm Bo. I'm Norse.
Previously on Dubstep and Dragons, Alphonse sucked at gambling and dove into the history of Norris, professor of astrology? Ash got his motorcycle and smited the shit out of an orc chief. Norris punched an orc, the same orc, in the dick and weaponized Not Heather. So we pick up. You guys are at the shores of the Mississippi River, the mighty Mississippi. Everybody give me a perception check.
Not good.
No, not good. I
Oh.
got 9.
12.
16.
Ooh, and the barbarian brings it home.
Dumb guy for the win.
Professor.
Yeah.
Professor dumb guy
Professor
for the
dumb
win.
guy. Yeah.
I
So-
don't know you're a professor. I didn't
Of
get that far.
astrology.
Yeah, what is that in Georgia?
The Big Dipper.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you could study. I won't even say it.
His classroom was all crystals.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was something where it's like all old Instagram posts and they just study models,
Oh.
like female models
Yeah.
or male models.
It is astrology.
Oh.
Oh.
The plot thickens.
Oh my god.
I can't believe they let us on a podcast, though.
You know, mistakes were made, but I ain't mad about it.
Nope.
Anyway. You two, Ash and Alphonse, you don't see shit. You're looking. It's getting pretty dark out. With your trip, you can hear the water. You know it's a big ass river. So you can see kind of the outline of it, but you don't see much. You see the destroyed bridge. Norris, I almost forgot your name.
How can you forget these?
Norris, you see where the railroad tracks, in the direction where the railroad tracks were going, which is, it's down the river a little ways, but you can see these posts that they put up along the railroad tracks from here.
So, I'd probably look at Alphonse and Ash and be like, I think we should probably go yonder way and follow them posts. Because if I was a gambling man, which we found out Alphonse is not.
I was just going to say,
You-
he is not
do you
a
wanna test
gambling
me?
man.
He gambled, just not very well.
Fair enough.
Do we need a rollies right now?
Rollies. I would say, Alphonse, we should go that way, because I'm betting the train gets over there somehow.
Do you know that because of a constellation that direction, or?
I can feel it in my crystals, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh,
Wait,
wait,
what?
I don't know what you're saying.
Why are we talking about stars?
Oh yeah, you weren't there. He's a professor of astrology.
Astrology?
Whatever.
Just know I'm kind of smartish,
He's smart.
or used to be anyhow.
Little hippy dippy.
You don't look smart, but alrighty then.
I got the bronze and some of the brains.
So remind me, did you mention anything to Alphonse about your history with the Deadheads?
I mentioned a little bit about it.
Okay,
I mentioned that I was part of the Deadheads
perfect.
beforehand.
Alphonse,
Yes.
give me a history check just to see what you know about the Deadheads.
A ton.
Oh, very good. How much?
Let me check my history. That is a 21.
You know a shit ton about the Deadheads. Maybe you were fascinated by some of the mutant clans and did a little research for funsies. But you would know they started out in Georgia, which makes sense with his accent, and I'm sure he told you he was from Georgia. You would know they started there, and they were a group of people that lived up in the mountains, like Appalachia. Does Appalachia go to Georgia?
Appalachia's more like
Yeah, that's further north, isn't it?
Virginia.
Yeah. Okay, so not
Tennessee.
Appalachia. Scratch that.
But the Appalachian Trail
Our DM
does
is
start.
excellent
This is
in-
out of game. Just saying for Gee Whiz, even for the listeners, Appalachian Trail does start in Georgia.
Yeah,
If
so
start
fuck
on
you.
the
They live
southern
up in
route.
Appalachia.
And first of all, Matt, if you're going to say it, it's Appalachia.
Appalachia.
There you go.
I'm going to get that wrong.
I'm gonna get that wrong too. I just
Okay.
did. I think.
Yeah. Appalachia.
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 Hey, you kind of sound like my kin.
By golly, I think we got it.
So all these folks up in Appalachia, they didn't want to come down from their homesteads. They wanted to stay home, and so
Oh,
they were during the nuclear holocaust. A lot of the radiation from the coast came over, and all this radioactive ash and just crap came over and affected all of these people in this region. And they didn't end up physically mutated like some of the mutants. What happened was their brains slowly start turning to mush, and they get dumber and crazier the longer that they're exposed to it. It's all the people that didn't want to leave their homes to go to like Atlanta or something like that and be close to the filter towers. And a lot of them eventually went insane, and to survive, they almost became like animalistic. And so to survive, they started relying heavily on cybernetics. So they would do raids on cities and trains and stuff like that to steal as much cybernetics as they could. And so as far as Deadheads go, he's actually lightly modified with his arms and his chest upgrades and stuff like that. Some of them get really, really, really crazy and are more machine than man.
oh, okay.
So yeah, with a 21, I'm gonna lay it out for you.
Yeah.
And the Deadheads, excuse me, the Deadheads still, their territory is mainly still the South. They stick to that area, but they have a pretty firm grip on that part of the country. They do have some where they will send groups out to try to expand their territory. So you will see them as far as Kansas and
Okay. Do they have a calling card? Deadheads? Is there like a?
they're basically all they're all built like him. Like they don't, none of them get real big. So they're all skinny.
They're a brick, na-na-na, house, na-na-na.
They're all skinny,
mighty.
and they
all hang out.
they
Good job, you got the bard singing.
Yes.
they tend to have kind of like almost like jaundice, where they get that yellowish tint to their skin.
Oh, thank goodness you described that, or I was gonna have to Google it.
Oh, I got you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really common with children. They get like yellowish.
Especially babies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's really common because usually they're malnourished, and they don't live very good lives. It's very violent. Think Mad Max Fury Road. The guys, the crazy guys in that. That's essentially the Deadheads.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And you can gather that from what Norris told you and what you know of the Deadheads, he probably wasn't with them real long before he was captured.
Okay. They don't have like any. So, for instance, certain gangs have tattoos or specific artwork. Do they have? Is there something recognizable that I would know about history wise? Or is it really just
it's the reverse male pattern baldness, the jaundice, and I did forget the kind of green tint to the hair.
green? Okay, cool.
As you guys go down the river, heading towards these posts that you saw, looking like you're right next to the water, and you're the only one that sees this. You know, you spent a fair amount of time living in the Death Dells, so you're fairly adept at these surroundings. These are a bit different than Georgia, but similar enough. And you can hear down in the water all these fish. They can almost like they can smell you, and they're trying to attack you from the water. Just all these almost like rabid piranhas at the edge of the water, just hoping that you'll come close enough for them to take your leg off.
Do I see this, or
No,
does anyone
not
else
with
see
that
it?
perception check.
Okay.
It's really just him. You two are just pleased as punch, and you wouldn't hear him anyway because you're just hearing potato, potato, potato.
So since Norris is the one that kind of sees this, I'd probably look back and get Alphon's attention and be like, "Hey, keep an eye on them kids back there. Them Waters is real angry." And I would probably try and get Ash's attention too over the potato, and try and warn Ash too to stay kind of inwards of the trail that we're following.
Okay, it'd be pretty difficult. This motorcycle is very, very loud.
Right. Damn potatoes.
He's probably got no exhaust.
Oh no,
Just headers back.
Yeah, it's just like a 1 foot piece of pipe, and that 1 foot piece of pipe has so many rust holes in it that most of the exhaust doesn't even make it to the end of the pipe.
I just picture bubble gum over the holes.
Oh man,
Like it's not even right. It just kind of falls off.
Right.
yeah, it's pretty ragged.
Oh,
I'm
love
thinking just like this rat rod of a motorcycle.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Like just straight up rat rotted it.
I actually have a miniature of it that I will bring with me next week. Yay. So you guys continue on down the coast. I won't make you roll for it because you know exactly where you're going. When you get there, you see, just like when the train came out from underground and started going across the surface, it looks as though this is where it goes back underground. So the train tracks lead into this large stone opening or concrete opening that's been built, and it seems to drop down under the river. Do you continue on onto the railroad tracks?
So the railroad tracks go under the river.
Yeah, the railroad tracks go into this tunnel under the river.
I feel like we would probably stop there to kind of like reconvene.
Just to kind
Since
of.
Ash can't hear us.
Yeah,
or anything.
and it is getting quite dark.
Right.
Can I do a perception check to see if I can see if the tunnel comes back out the other side?
It would have to be very high. You can try, but right now your visibility is pretty low, and the Mississippi is very wide.
I failed.
Okay.
So we'd probably stop And Norris would be like, well, this is obviously where it goes back into the dirt. What do you boys want to do? Do we go in or do we wait till morning?
Well, positive news. As long as there's not a train coming from Kansas, we should be fine.
I say we could probably get through the rail tracks, get to the other side of the river, and maybe set up camp for the night. Unless you guys want to travel through the night.
No, not really.
I wouldn't recommend it.
So I would say we're probably pretty good for trains coming from Kansas, since we were on the train going to Kansas. We could probably make it through without any trains. But however, orcs, goblins, and ghouls, I don't know
Yeah.
about.
It's worth a shot. I don't really see a better way across.
I don't swim very well.
You probably sink with those arms.
Yeah, they don't float.
I'm just thinking of a weight on a fishing line. That's straight to the bottom.
Oh, jeez.
I was
Dice
trying to-
down.
I was trying to flail.
So yeah, continue on under the bridge, and I'm gonna let Norris lead on this one.
Okay. So you're settling the motorcycle behind,
Yeah,
and you have to drive on the tracks. So
Yeah.
as you
it's
as
a rough ride.
I say, do you hang on?
Oh yeah.
Are you able to hang on?
as you move your way into this tunnel, it is pitch black in here. Because it's dark out, you can't see light at the end of the tunnel. It would feel very claustrophobic. You can hear as you trek through this tunnel, you can hear just off in these little dark corners, just all these strange low growls, all these just noises you can't really make sense of.
Hey, Norris, does this thing have a radio?
You know, I ain't tried Alphonse. Let me give her a flick. And Norris would just kind of punch the radio.
Give me a luck check, DC 15. I find it roll a flat D20, and if it's above a 15,
Radio's busted, bud.
Dang.
and
I
when
like-
when he hits it too hard, and as he hits on first contact, you hear the music kick up, and then he puts his fist through it.
Aw.
I think I broke it.
Man, that strength level is pretty tuned up on those arms.
She ain't being held back now. But I tell you what, Alphonse, I do like to sing.
Do you?
I do. You know, back before all this stuff kicked off, I was known as the karaoke king in my local country club.
Wow.
Not to
And-
toot my own horn. And then
This you hear from the back of the truck. Oh God, I'd rather die.
There's the back of the truck. Was it a kid or a woman?
No, it was not Heather.
It was not Heather?
It was not Heather. She's not a fan of karaoke.
you'll be fine, Wilfred.
You see her like take the needles and she's like trying to like plug her ears with the blunt end of the needle.
I was gonna say, please don't stab yourself. I was like, oh gosh.
As we're going over
Oops,
railroad
wrong
tracks?
Yeah.
This doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if that's safe.
And that's the end of Night Heather.
And they are in the back just bouncing around, and the cryo chamber is I mean, it's bouncing 6-8 inches off the deck. And
Gotta be careful for them kids, too.
yeah, and how close behind the truck are you following?
Probably 15 feet, 15, 20 feet.
Okay. So as you're trekking through, you're hearing all these strange noises out the window. Nothing seems to come up too close. As you're, it looks like you're just about the last quarter of the tunnel, and you can start to see a little bit of light. It's not totally dark out yet, so you can just see the faintest bit of remaining daylight outside. And you all have this stabbing, searing pain in the back of your mind. And you all take wait, no, that's 12 psychic damage.
That's not very nice.
And you can hear inside the cryo chamber somebody smashing their hands on the lid. And about 6 seconds later, you all get this stabbing pain, and another 14 psychic damage courses through your head.
Jeez.
And it's almost like somebody is screaming inside of your skull.
Well, I feel like Norris is going to slam on the brakes after
Yeah,
the
and
second
I when he does it, I slam on the motorcycle brakes
Okay.
too. Yeah.
So you all stop, and all the passengers in the back, like there's blood coming out their ears.
Those
blood
kids would be dead.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
let me run my game.
I'm just saying they'd be.
I'm not gonna kill a bunch of kids.
Maybe I'll get some
And-
new shoes. I'm sorry.
You're terrible.
So they all have
So bad.
they all have blood running out their ears, out their nose, corners of their eyes. What's everybody's hit points at?
I'm at 9.
I'm at 29.
Okay.
I'm at 4.
Yeah, so Alphonse and Ash, you two are both just like this is pushing your body. Like it feels like somebody's taking your brain and wringing it. You're kind of okay.
I still
Norris.
don't like it.
No, it's very painful.
Yeah. So after I slam on the brakes, I'm going to look back at Alphonse and be like, what the fuck is going on?
And you're hearing all these things that were outside of the truck. They seem to be moving away from the truck as fast as they possibly can, because something just hurt their brains.
It's a bit of an experiment. We should probably open it before I die.
Was that thing in that thing that I tried yeeting back there? Is it moving?
Yep.
Ash, you should probably get up here.
Make an investigation check on the cryo chamber. Alphonse.
7.
7. So with a 7, you can tell that there's banging coming from the cryo chamber. Do you go over to it?
I don't have another option.
Okay. So when you go over to it, you can see the young woman inside, and she just looks frantic, and she's just smashing her hands against the glass and trying to get out, trying to force her way out. What do you do?
I do what I can.
Okay. So do you open? Do you try to pry open the cryo chamber? Or-
I wouldn't be strong enough to pry it open.
Okay.
I would try to find some sort of dash I could unlock or
Okay.
keypad or something.
So this thing has been powered down ever since the train wreck. It's pretty heavily damaged.
Okay, if that's the case, can you give me a wisdom saving throw?
Yeah, absolutely. Rolled pretty high. What are you trying to cast?
Detect thoughts.
Detect thoughts. So I believe with that you can roll their surface. You can understand their surface level thoughts without the save. So surface level, there's no words, but you can sense panic. You can sense confusion. You can feel that they are lost and they don't know what's happening.
I've climbed into the back of the truck by now,
Okay.
too.
Okay. So you
hearing
see the same thing. You see this, and at this point, she's kind of, if you're over the cryo chamber, she's looking at you. She's just wild eyes, just trying to understand, and she's like pawing at the glass and just trying to almost plead to you to let her out.
You see a way to open it, Alphonse, at all?
This thing's busted.
Do I see a way to, like, jab my sword and, like, pry it open?
Yeah, give me a strength check.
17.
17. So with a 17, you can get your sword in there, and you're pretty handy with it. You're not gonna like accidentally slip and like shove it through. So you're able to get it in there and start prying up on it. It doesn't pop open, but you can at least get your sword in there to give it a little bit of a gap.
I can't do much more here. I'm struggling. It won't pry.
So Norris gets out of the truck because I see Ash gets into the back, and I make my way towards the back, and I'll be like, "What's going on with this thing?"
Norris, we got to get this thing open.
Yeah, we gotta get it open.
Have you tried the latches? Are the latches working or anything like that?
No, the whole unit's powered down.
All right, so then Norris would climb in the back of the truck,
Okay.
and then I would probably just say, "Well, I'm not very good with latches, but I can try to bust it open."
So he gave you enough room with his sword that you can get your fingers in there.
Tips in there.
Yeah.
So I would put my fingertips in there, and I would just pull up as hard as I could.
Okay.
Do I budge it at all?
Give me a strength check.
19.
19. You can't quite, like, you can feel it wanting to open up, but you can't quite get it. Because you're fairly new. I'll give you a little hand. If you rage,
I was about to say
you
if
have
I-
you have advantage on strength checks. So I will allow you to burn a rage to take advantage on it.
Okay, so since I felt it, I would probably just like kind of relax a little bit and then just get mad and rage and
Okay.
just rip it.
Okay. So your chest flares out, your arms flare out,
Right.
and your fire starts
fire.
venting out of the plates, and you're just pulling as hard as you can. Give me another strength check.
I'm backing away from him, like,
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, I mean he's radiating heat.
That's an 18.
18. With the three combined pretty good rolls, and with your arms flaming, you're pulling, and the flames almost get larger the harder he pulls, almost like it's releasing the heat from your mechanical parts, almost like this is the exhaust system. And so you're pulling, and the harder you pull, the more your muscles flare. The more your muscles flare, the more the flames come out. And you are the Human Torch at this point. You have just 3 feet of flames on each side, and everybody is having to step away from you and make room. And as you pull, the flame from your hand, the fire from your hand starts to melt the cryo chamber. And you're able to pull it through, and your hands are just melting through the lid, and it releases and pops open.
Perfect.
As soon as it does, she reaches up and she grabs a hold of your collar, Alphonse. And she's panicked, and you hear in your head this staticky it's almost like a really loud whisper from a mile away. It seems distant and yet inside your head at the same time, and you just hear, "Help me!"
Rain, calm down. You're gonna kill me.
When you say the name, she doesn't recognize you, but something about that name triggers a memory, and you can almost see her like almost like a cognitive reset, and she's holding on to you, and she's just shaking in fear.
I think she likes you, Alphonse.
We have a bit of a history together.
Oh.
Do you help her out of the cryo chamber?
Yeah, best of my ability.
Okay.
Are there any?
She's not very big, so it's fairly easy.
Are there any spots on her that have been damaged from her beating on the case? Her hands and stuff like that.
So her hands, she seems unharmed.
Good.
I didn't burn her, did I?
No.
Perfect.
You can see like singe marks on that jumpsuit she was wearing, on the onesie. You can see singe marks on her legs, but as the fire came in, she kind of like shuffled her body up to the top of the cryo chamber to give herself a little distance between her and the flames. And she as you help her out, she's still kind of holding on to your collar and holding on to you for dear life. And you keep hearing, "Help me, help me, help me." And then her eyes roll to the back of her head, and she just kind of collapses in your arms.
Okay. I set her down next to the cryo chamber. Actually, Ash, Norris, can you just kick this cryo chamber out the back? I don't think we need it anymore.
So Norris would just grab it and like start to slide it back, but then I would look at Alphonse and be like, "What is that thing?"
Possibly a story for another time. My head's kind of ringing.
That's fair. Mine is too.
Mine's a little, but I'll help you get this thing out of the back end of the truck.
Possibly, it's a campfire story. When we get out of this hellhole of a train track.
Is she going to do that shit with our brains again?
Let's pray not.
Okay.
And me and Ash are just
Yeah, we
this
both-
thing out of the back of the truck.
Just yeet it out of the back of the
Just
truck.
just right out the back of the
Just
truck.
right out the back, right on the tracks.
Right on the tracks.
Right on the
Okay.
tracks. Nobody cares about the trains.
Okay. So okay. You guys you get back on your motorcycle, Ash. You two, I'm assuming you stay in the back with Rain.
Yeah.
Okay. And everybody's pretty freaked out. And a few people passed out from the brain trauma. So there's people, they're stable but unconscious throughout the back of the truck. The canvas cover just has this big burn hole. It has this big burn hole above where Norris was, and you can even see this kind of charred halo all around where he was standing. And you guys can make your way out of the tunnel, and once again it's just just beating the shit out of you on your way out. But you don't encounter any strange creatures down here. You don't. And you can move your way out the tunnel. And you guys want to set up camp
Yeah.
on the other
Yeah,
side?
we'll set up camp.
Yeah,
on the other
Norse
side.
is getting hungry. I
Somebody
feel
give
like,
me a survival check.
especially
We'll
after
see how good of a spot you can find. Eat.
that. Oh man.
So I want to remind you guys of something, a game mechanic in 5e. You can help each other. You can take the help action.
I am not one to help with this type of check.
Okay, very good. Yeah.
I'll help.
Well, it's
anything
too late
now.
now.
Oh, never mind.
I'm
Thanks.
reminding you for another time.
Fair enough.
So when you get out of the tunnel, you're looking around, and there's not much. Most of the trees are dead. There's not any big rock outcroppings or anything like that. So it's really hard to find a place that's going to hide this big truck very well. So you pull away from the railroad tracks and away from any roads that you see as much as you can, but you're still sitting kind of out in the open.
Well, Norris will probably pull the truck up to the spot and slowly come to a stop and get out and go to the back of the truck.
Okay. Yeah, you're at the back of the truck.
Yeah, and start helping everybody out.
Okay. Yeah, and everybody, especially after going through that train tunnel, they're pretty beat up. Those that were unconscious from the attack on their brain, they've woken up, and everybody's fine, in bad shape, but fine.
How far did we come out from the river? Did we come out right next to it, or was it?
Yeah,
quite a
you're
bit
not very
passing?
far. You're we'll say within a half a mile
Okay.
of the river. Just trying to get off of the main roads and away from the railroad tracks, just to be as inconspicuous as possible, I would imagine. But you're still fairly close to the water. And you guys can set up camp.
Are
for
there
the
any
evening.
trees or anything around to make like a fire or any wood to burn?
You can find some wood to burn. Absolutely. Give me an investigation check.
It's cocked.
And if anybody else wants to look for
13.
supplies or anything, yeah, I mean you can find some wood. There's not a. It's been kind of picked through because there's been other people traveling through this area, but you find enough to build a decent fire, enough to keep everybody warm. Because keep in mind, after the nuclear holocaust, the average temperature dropped about 40 degrees. So at night it gets very chilly.
Can I do a luck check to see if there is some sort of explosives stored on the vehicle we've been driving in?
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, I will make this a fairly low DC because it was the orcs.
6.
6. Yeah, that you find one grenade and 2 sticks of dynamite.
I would love to try to cave in the train track tunnel the best I can.
Okay.
Essentially, or even blow a hole in it to where the river fills it.
Okay. Give me. Actually, I won't even make you roll for it. Everybody knows how to use a grenade.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, isn't that part of your training, Alphonse?
Yeah. I don't want those orcs that were chasing us to come through that tunnel while we're enjoying some peace and quiet.
Fair enough.
Good call.
So do you tell anybody else that you're doing this?
No.
Okay.
No.
I had a sneaking suspicion. So you guys don't know where Alphonse gets off to. He
Right.
just kind of disappears from the group for a while. And you're setting up camp, you're building a fire, you're trying to get everybody comfortable, and you hear this in the distance. And
What the crap?
it's too far away to see anything, but you hear this loud explosion from the direction you came from.
So I would probably look at Ash and be like, I just shit myself.
It wasn't me.
Where the hell is Alphonse?
I don't know. I didn't see where he went. I'm not his keeper.
And you look, and all the passengers, they're like huddled under the truck now.
Would I be strolling back to the camp?
That's up to you.
Oh, fantastic. So I'm walking back, and you hear me kind of singing himself. The train tracks are on fire.
Alphonse, where the hell have you been? There was a freaking huge explosion.
Oh, yeah, that was me.
What do you mean that was you? You scared the shit out of us.
Literally or figuratively?
Literally. Come over here and you'll find out.
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm not that big of an astrologist. No, I was just making sure those orcs don't follow us, so I caved in that train track,
Oh,
the tunnel.
good call. A very good call.
Yeah, good
Next
call,
time, give
but-
us a warning.
Yeah, for real.
I figured you guys didn't want to hear my singing.
I'd much rather
Sing-
hear your singing than be wearing poop.
I figured with all the blood and everything, poop's your least of your concerns.
I have a weird thing with defecation, okay?
Oh, you don't want it to get on your new chucks.
That's fair. Did you see how pristine these are? These are circa 2004.
Give me a luck check.
Don't tell me I ruined my chucks.
There's no modifier for it. It's
Oh.
a flat roll.
17.
17. Yeah, no poop ran down your leg onto your chucks.
So it was a log.
It was a log.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was solid.
I just flipped trowel a little bit and it rolled right out of the back of my pants.
That's disgusting.
Don't worry, I kicked some sand over it.
Still pretty gross.
It's an involuntary reaction, guys. Don't make me feel bad for it.
Give me a perception check, Norris. Because you're the only one that would recognize this.
15.
15. You see a little kid that's now one of the kids huddled under the truck, and on his back he has a case, a cylindrical case that you recognize as the asshole Carbon was folding up his clothes nicely
Right.
and put everything in that case, and he's like reaching in it, like reaching around and feel. There's nothing in it. There's not even sides. What is it? He like sticks his head in there, and his whole upper body goes into this little case, and his legs are just kicking out of him.
So
Do it.
No.
Do the rest of us see this?
At this point, anybody that's around the truck would see this.
So Norris would just run over there and grab the case with the child still half in it, hold it above my head, and just dump the kid out. I'll just shake the kid
And
out.
so when you flip it here, I'm gonna give this kid a dex saving throw.
God, I hope
Oh, he doesn't make it.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
So when you flip it over, he falls out and he's, hey, that's mine. What are you doing? That's mine. I took it.
Well, I'm going to take it now.
You don't get this. This is mine. Give me. And,
How old are you, kid?
old enough to kick your ass.
That one's got an attitude on it.
And you can see he's got his little fists balled up. He's probably like 8 or 9 years old.
Norris would probably just reach over and thump him right on the forehead and say, simmer down there, Seabiscuit. How about I trade you for it? And I pull out one of those little digital wallets that I took off the orc chief.
The kid's eyes get big. He's, how much is on it?
That's for me to know and you to find out. Do you want to trade or not? This is your only option.
I feel like this is a gamble.
It is a gamble, but so is life,
And
kid.
and he snatches it out of your hand. He's, I'm gonna be rich.
So then I just grab my case and I look back and say, fucking asshole. And I just shake my head and walk away.
How close am I to this kid? Can I slide a hand grab that?
Yeah, give me sleight of hands. I'm gonna roll his perception.
Ooh.
That is a 14.
You kick the shit out of his perception.
Oh, jeez.
I
That poor kid.
just lightly twirl it and
Yeah.
throw it in a pocket.
He was just sliding it into his pocket, and you reach out. He's one of those that just goes on faith that once it reaches the top of the pocket and drops it, it's gonna fall in. And just as it's about to fall in, you reach out and just snag it with your fingers.
Fantastic. I throw Norris a wink if he's seen it. He might not have.
Roll perception. You said 14 on your sleight of hand?
Yeah.
I'm busy trying to get the fire and everything ready, just trying to make everyone comfy. As comfy as
11.
they can.
You don't see shit.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you just saw this kid slide it in his pocket, and Alphonse was just walking past him. Yeah.
And you got a wink.
Yeah. Thinks
I
you
didn't see
he
it,
think
right?
you saw the wink.
Oh, I seen Wink.
He thinks you're cute.
Yeah, I'd probably look at Alphonse and be like, "What's his problem?" And then, yeah, I would take my little case and I would probably go to the front of the truck where there's less people and start investigating this case.
Okay. Yeah, because there were some nice clothes. You saw him.
Yeah.
You saw him put some nice clothes in
And
there.
I seen him pull 2 pistols out of there.
1 pistol and 2 katanas.
2 katanas. That's what it was. I forgot.
And it just didn't
The
make
blows
any.
to the head.
It just didn't make any sense how he could pull these long katanas out of this like 2 foot by 1 foot case.
Right.
And it is a very nice case. It's all leather and beautiful stitching, and it's very, very well made. As you reach in and you're thinking about the clothes that you saw him put in there. As you reach in, you feel the clothes just sitting there, and you're able to just pull them out, and you got some nice clothes.
Yeah.
And then you reach in to kind of see what else is in there, and your brain tells you there should be. Sorry, your brain tells you. I talk with my hands.
Earthquake.
Your brain tells you there should be a side there. There should be like walls to this thing, and it's just nothing. Like you reach towards yourself, and you should be like hitting yourself in the chest, and it's just nothing. It's this big empty void in there.
So I would probably be confused. I would take out the clothes, obviously, and I would inspect them and see that they were suitable.
Oh, they're very nice.
Yeah.
He's a bit shorter than you.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, he was only about 5'10", and you're what, 6'3",
Yeah.
Something like that.
6'3" and a quarter.
6'3" and a quarter. That quarter is very important.
So, well, I would reach in there and I would feel that there's no walls. And I was like, well, that's weird. You know, obviously I would think that that's weird, but that wouldn't really be on my mind so much right now. First, I would want to put on my new clothes to match my new kicks.
All right.
So I'm gonna take the pants and I'm gonna put them on and notice that they're a little short, and I'm gonna instantly rip them into Daisy Dukes. Daisy Duke shorts.
So the pants are a very nice set of red, like silken dress pants.
Yeah.
So you now have red silk Daisy Dukes,
Dress Daisy Dukes.
dress Daisy Dukes. I
Why
wish
would
they
you rip those pants?
I wish they had like juicy across the butt or something.
Juicy couture.
We got a lady who can actually sew or crochet juicy. Then we can put it on there.
Absolutely.
Fair.
Yeah. And then it's just a
mean, you
very
are an
a very nice white button up shirt, and then a matching red jacket.
Perfect.
What year of college did you teach the juicy class?
The juicy class?
Yes.
Astrology, you mean?
Yes, but what year? Like what
For
class?
It's for the juicy juniors.
The juicy juniors.
Juicy
Okay.
juniors.
I was a junior teacher.
Is that like a 101, 201, 301?
It's a 301.
301. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
So
Yeah, you're kind of looking like what's his name from AC/DC?
Yes, young.
Yes. but red. Yeah, you're looking very sharp.
Right.
Your skinny little chicken legs are just they look great.
So once I'm dressed, then I would go back to the issue of the case with no walls,
Okay.
and I would continue checking that out.
Give me an intelligence check. Just flat intelligence.
That's 4.
That's a 4. This is something you are totally unfamiliar with. You just cannot wrap your head around this. Your mind is blown, and in the back of your head, you're thinking this information must be in the part that's already turned to mush.
This is mushy brain stuff. So yeah, I'd probably just say screw it, throw the case over my back.
Okay.
Strap it across my back.
All right, so he steps out, and he is in basically red hot pants and a matching red jacket.
And I just hold my arms out and say, "Check me out, boys."
And the jacket is about like 8 inches too short at the sleeves.
But I keep the sleeves on because I like the way it accents my biceps.
Oh yeah.
Makes my biceps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't mind a little shortness on the wrist.
Well, and those sleeves are not going to last through your first rage anyway.
I'm not thinking about that right now.
Well,
Anybody else have
looking
anything
dapper
they
there,
want to do
Norris.
before?
Just call me Dapper Dan.
At this point, I would have tried to pick up Rain and move her over to the fire area where we're conjuring.
Okay. And she's still unconscious. You can hear, you know, she moves every now and then, and you can hear her breathing. You know she's okay. And every now and then, just this feeling of you can sense her thoughts occasionally, almost like she's out. Almost like her thoughts are coming into your mind, but she's the one pushing them there. And you can sense that she feels comforted but doesn't know why.
Good.
And she feels comfortable.
what does she look like? Like outside of the cryo?
So she has this kind of silver one piece bodysuit that's covering everywhere, and it comes all the way up to her jawline. She's dark complected, very curly black hair, cut fairly short, almost like a buzz cut. Like if you straightened out the hair, it would still only be an inch long, but it's kinked up to almost like a 1 centimeter afro. Very like unnaturally even complexion. And she's very pretty. She's a very pretty young lady. You haven't seen her eyes much, because she was face to face with him and inside of the case, or otherwise unconscious. Yeah, very lovely young lady.
I see you got a new friend there, Alphonse. It's pretty cute.
Yeah. Let's just stop there.
Whatever you say.
I'm not in the mood to talk.
You've had a rough day.
Yeah, my brain is scrambled right now. And
Newsflash, Alphonse, we all got our brains scrambled today.
Yeah, this just hit a little harder than I thought it would.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I could use some sleep.
I need some food. And then sleep sounds nice.
Food does sound good too.
So you guys do have your rations. Everybody can, whoever's keeping track of rations, you can mark off rations for each of you and rations for each of the passengers. So that's a total of 16.
Norris, you got that written down?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's plenty of water. So there's nothing to worry about there.
So
Unless you guys want to go down to the river and collect some water.
nope.
Nope.
Maybe in the morning.
So we have a total of 14 rations left.
Does anybody stand watch for the evening?
I'm incapable of doing it.
Incapable? Okay.
I can take the first shift. I can take probably the first 8.
I'll take the next 8. But that means you're driving tomorrow.
So
I can
so you
sleep.
guys
Or Alphonse is driving tomorrow, so I can sleep.
you guys in order for everybody to get your long rest, I believe the rules are 6 hours of sleep and then 2 hours of light activity, if I remember correctly. So you guys could work it out to, if you each did a 4-hour watch and then had the passengers help out a bit, you would have to rest for about 10 hours for everybody to get their long rest. Each of you roll me a perception check. Not you, because you're not standing watch. Alphonse.
11.
22.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Gosh, this barbarian's got some eyes on him.
It's because my new suit. I'm fucking high alert.
The one thing your brain didn't get melted with is your vision.
Yeah.
Throughout the evening, you hear noises off in the distance, similar to what you were hearing inside of the tunnel. But they seem to stay along the edge of the light from the fire. Nothing bothers you through the evening. You all get your long rest.
Thank you.
Can I make a investigation check and see if I can't see anything? Like make out any kind of shapes or
So with your perception,
animals?
you see kind of just these slight silhouettes of, they move unnaturally quick and they run on all fours, but they kind of run like a gorilla, like a smaller gorilla, on all fours, but at the same time kind of upright, like their front legs are very long. But as soon as they get close enough that the light from the fire even hits them, they turn and run back away.
Okay. So I would kind of make notice of that and then see that as soon as they get close to the light, I guess I kind of figure, well, these things are there, but they're obviously not going to come towards us because we're in the light. So I would probably just try and get some sleep.
Okay. In the morning, you all wake up. The sun's up. You can't actually see it, but you can tell that it's up because the sky is glowing.
It's not so cold anymore.
Yeah, it definitely, like the switch between night and day is pretty drastic. Nights get very, very cold. Everybody give me a Constitution saving throw.
Three.
21.
21.
6.
6. Ash and Norris each take 1 level of exhaustion. You slept through the night, but out here in the Death Dells, you're dealing with toxic air from the ash and just all the crap you've been breathing in all day. So 1 level of exhaustion, and remember we will be using the new exhaustion rules, so that just means a -1 on all of your D20 rolls.
That includes attack, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, all D20 rolls. You load up. Everybody wakes up in the morning. Everybody's feeling much better. Alphonse, you as you try to stand up, and I imagine that you were kind of next to Rain, just kind of shoulder to shoulder, just in case she moved or anything like that. You would be aware.
Yeah, I would know that I need to protect the group from her freaking out again.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you wake up in the morning and you start moving a bit, you jostle her, and she wakes up. And as soon as she wakes up, she kind of shuffles back away from you, and she's looking around trying to make sense of her environment, wordlessly, but you can sense how unsure she is, and how she just doesn't know where she is or why she's there.
Okay. I would reassure her, I'd just like, Rain, we're heading to Kansas. We're trying to save this group of people. It's time to load up and head out.
You hear in your head, in that kind of that distant whisper, you just hear friend, you are, and it's almost like she's trying to make sense of it in her mind. She knows there's something there. She knows there's some connection. She just can't place it.
I think you have as many questions as the rest of the group. Let's just get on the road and we can talk then.
And she, you can see that she's shivering, cold, and she just kind of she walks up next to you, and she pushes against you almost just for warmth. Not because she doesn't know why, but she knows that you're familiar. And so she's not like nuzzling up to you, but she's just like almost hiding from everybody else behind you.
Great, that works.
And wherever you go, she's going to follow.
Okay.
So you all load up on the truck.
Norris, you wanted me to drive this morning? Thanks for keeping watch last night.
Yeah, no problem. If you wouldn't mind.
Sure.
Okay. Give me animal handling check.
21.
Very good. Gosh, you guys are great drivers.
That could have gone south really quick.
Ash, are you navigating again?
Yeah, because I pretty much know the way.
Okay, give me a survival check.
This was terrible. Sorry, guys. 9.
9?
With just out of curiosity, with his knowledge before, would he have passed any of that on, so we kind of have a good idea of where we're going between Norris, Alphonse, and
So you know,
Ash?
in general, you need to head west.
Okay.
That's about all you know.
Okay.
So you're gonna continue west. You're gonna be going in the right general direction. With that check, it does take you off course a bit. I imagine you want to stay away from the tracks, just because that would be an easy way to track you. So you veer north of the railroad tracks, and you're just kind of wandering through this barren wasteland. Everybody give me a perception check.
That's a 10 for Norris.
9.
18.
18. So occasionally you see vehicles in the distance, and you essentially see somebody at the top of a hill that parks and just kind of watches you go across this open expanse. They don't ever come close. It almost seems like scouting parties, just kind of keeping that are just kind of doing their routine routes. From this distance, you get the idea that they probably couldn't tell you from another orc group. All they see is 2 orc vehicles driving across the wastelands. As you continue on, you make really good progress through the day, especially with that driving check, and you cover a good chunk of the state by lunchtime, by midday. At midday, your fuel is starting to get a bit low. You're well below a quarter of a tank. You've had to stop and use the gas cans to fill your bike up a couple of times, and the gas cans are out. So at this point, you guys know you need to find some sort of civilization, or you're going to be hoofing it. And not necessarily civilization, but you need to find some source of fuel.
Would I know of any like small town between where we're at and there, like very, like almost rural towns?
I hate that word.
I do.
Rural.
Yeah, see, it's so hard.
Like a car that just won't quite start.
That sounds like my Jeep in the morning.
On a cold day, right?
Oh, God, any day. That Jeep's
Poor old Jeeps. Give me another survival check.
8.
Do you still have inspiration?
Yes, I do. I do have inspiration still.
Thank you, Mr. DM.
That just adds 10, is it? How does
No, inspiration is
it's
so
a full
DM
reroll.
inspiration is basically advantage.
Okay. Oh, that's so much better. 15.
15. So with a 15, you know that you're roughly between a couple of small towns. You're not sure if they would have been taken over by any of the mutant gangs by now. You know of one in particular that's really off the beaten path, and you get the sneaking suspicion that you might be okay to go there. It's probably your best bet. I'm looking up the name of this town.
Well, as we're driving along, I'm going to ask Alphonse, since he's driving now and I've woken up from my nap. I'm going to say, hey, so, I got a couple questions for you since you got my backstory.
Okay.
What's the deal with your lady friend?
What do you want to know?
Well, I want to know why she scrambled our brains first.
That much I can't tell you.
Well, why does she like you so much?
Well, when I was working for NATO, my job in Chicago, I was on a specific program that was called Reigns. Do you remember seeing the name on the side of that case?
Yeah, it was like Rhonda or Regina or something like that.
Close. It's realistic artificial intelligence neurology system.
Hey, that spells brains.
Certainly does. On this program, it was designed to basically understand what mistakes led to the destruction of Earth and 90% of humanity's death. Reigns, which I refer to as Rain, is basically I was in charge of helping her learn and understand and become smart, learning. Just help her.
Okay, that makes sense. I thought you were just an IT guy.
All of us have a little secret.
That's fair. I'm an astrologist. And then, being true to Norris, he'd probably just sit back down and be content with the answers he got. Oh yeah, thanks for talking to me. By the way, I don't want to seem rude.
Oh, Ask away.
And then
We
I'll
got-
just sit back down while they still talking. I just wanted to make sure you didn't think I was rude.
As you're cutting across these wastelands, you know that there is a small town off the beaten path called Dalton, Missouri. As you're directing everybody in towards Dalton, you peek over the hill, and a majority of what you see is these homesteads that seem to be still thriving in this area. And they're just kind of dotting this little town. And you have these homesteads with this little farm, with these little farms, and then this massive cemetery that takes up about half of the city. Nothing threatening about it. Actually, this is probably the best thing you've seen ever since you left Chicago. And the most plant life, for sure.
Yeah, I lead everyone into town then.
Okay.
And we kind of roll into town. Try to find some gas.
As you come into town, as you're coming in, you see all these men, just human men, running out, and they have rifles, shotguns, stuff like that, and they almost form a line at the road as you come in.
No problem. I would bring the vehicle to a stop.
About how close do you get to the line of men?
Probably, how far were they from the edge of town? I'd get to the edge, right at the edge of town.
Yeah, they're near the edge of town. Just as you're about to cross into the homesteads, they have a barbed wire fence. It's kind of a compound.
Yeah,
that they've turned it into.
I would stop right at the barbed wire fence.
Okay.
As I'm getting out, my hands would be up in the air and just saying, "We have women and children aboard."
Okay, very good. Give me we'll say a persuasion check.
That is going to be 15.
15, good enough. So they flag you to come towards them. And as you get up, this kind of elderly man, not super old, but probably 60s, gray beard, balding. You think that at one point he probably had a very kind face, but these years of trying to defend his home have really worn on him, and he's got this massive gash that's healed by now. It's a scar, but it goes almost from the crown of his head all the way down, crossing one of his eyes, and his lip kind of hangs open on his left side. These and all of the men in this group, they're scarred. One of them's missing an arm. You can tell that they fight very hard for this land. And as you walk up, hey, what why are you stopping here?
Our train was attacked by orcs.
I'm amazed any of you survived.
We were lucky. There was military on board that gave their lives.
Do you mind if my boys take a look in the truck? Just we
No.
can't be too safe.
Go ahead. Like I said, women and children.
Okay, and they open up, and I mean this place is fortified. It's kind of Walking Dead-esque when they're in that prison. Like it's
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah,
whenever you
yeah,
described
absolutely.
it.
And so they pull back this massive gate, and inside, all these half dozen men that are with him. A few stay up there next to him, but about a half a dozen come out, and they surround the truck, surround the motorcycle, and as they're inspecting where'd you get the rides?
Well, we killed all of the orcs. We took what was left, and we are heading to Kansas. Problem is, we're running out of gas.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have much. We can spare a bit. We trade with people from Kansas City. They bring things out. They helped us build our filter tower. And you look over and there's this like 30-foot tall filter tower. It's like just big enough to cover this compound.
To be honest with you, I'd be willing to just trade a vehicle and you can ensure that these people are safe and smuggle them back to Kansas or something. The goal was just to make sure that they are still alive.
Actually, I could really use this truck.
That's fine. Do you have something for 4 people?
Yeah, I think we could round something up for you. We can trade you a tank of gas and a vehicle that'll hold the 4 of you, and yeah, we could definitely work that out. And you see,
man, I really liked my truck.
you see like this guy. This is like the first bit of good luck that they've had in a long time.
Norris, you broke the radio. Maybe on this one they'll have a working radio, and either Ash or myself will try turning it on.
We can
Maybe our
figure it
bard
out.
would just sing more for us.
I gotta be inspired.
I guess we could use a downsize, and I'm really getting tired of these kids.
Yeah, and as once they check out the truck and they wave you through, and I'm guessing you just hop over to the driver's seat since he's already out of the truck. So you hop over to the driver's seat and pull it inside of the gate. Once you're inside, they help everybody out of the back of the truck and they're kind of introducing them to all the townsfolk. And there's about 30 people living in this little community. Just living off of this little bitty plot of land and fighting off whatever comes their way. And everybody give me a perception check.
5.
I also nat 20
Oh, no shit.
For a total of 25.
Wow.
For the barbarian.
That's insane. I got 24.
24. The barbarian beat you.
Yep.
Get wrecked!
I don't see shit.
Yeah. Well, so with you pull up on the bike and everybody's kind of this is the first time that they've had one of these orc motorcycles, and one of the guys says, "Oh man, this takes me back. My old chopper, built it in my garage," and all these kind of grizzled men are just kind of fawning over your motorcycle, and they're pretty excited to see it, and so that they would be distracting you, but you guys, you see, they've really done a number on this place. You can see where the gates have obviously been breached, and then you can see like blood stains, like almost like pools of dried blood, just inside the gate in those areas. And there's all these watchtowers with machine guns mounted on them. Like this place is built for war. And there's more houses here than there are people to fill them. So either some people are still inside of their homes, which you find unlikely, or this town really struggles to maintain itself. But they're surviving. And so we'll say John's the kind of the essentially the mayor of this little community.
Okay.
And he leads you into his home, and his wife is making, getting some vegetables together, and sorry, we don't get much meat, so it's basically just vegetables, but it's better than that replicator shit. And she makes this nice spread and feeds you guys, and he's kind of talking to you about your journey and asking you questions, and it's a nice, hour and a half conversation and meal. Rains would have followed you in, and she'd just be sitting there silent, and you can see that John kind of looks at her, and he's very like she doesn't fit. Like of all this group, she's in this like reflective, jumpsuit, and she's dead silent, and she just seems very skittish. So he's, your sister, daughter?
Let's just call her a science project.
It's a strange way to describe somebody. But
outside a game, does my firearm say NATO or anything like those? If you're a soldier, is your NATO gun pretty noticeable?
So it would be like a standard issue.
Standard issue, so
Yeah.
it would probably have some sort of emblems or something on it.
Yeah, we'll say in the grip it has the NATO emblem.
Okay, so I would politely set my gun on the table and be like, I work for the military. This was one of the projects I worked on. It was to figure out why the world was ending.
You could have just told me that without pulling a gun.
I figured this is so you understand I'm truthful.
Yeah, I just I didn't want to pry. I wasn't sure she wasn't speaking, so not to be rude. And he's and they continue on, and he tries to change the subject, but he still kind of looks over at her, just trying to figure out what's going on there with her, and she's just very actively observing everything that everybody is doing and hanging on every word, and she's very awkward about it and just staring at people. And after the meal ends, he takes you around back, and he's, so we used this to shuttle back and forth to the city, just to if somebody needed medical attention or something like that we couldn't give them here, we would, and it's essentially a Suburban.
Okay.
And you're free to it. It's tough. We've beefed it up a bit just to handle all this. It'll take a shot to the door, no problem, just as long as it's not too heavy of a round. But yeah, it'll serve you well.
John, does this have a navigation system so we don't get lost on our way, or is there a pretty straight shot?
No, it just follow the signs. Honestly, you won't run into much trouble between here and Kansas City. You're too close to the city for them to bother.
Great.
Excellent.
And he would give you kind of rough directions. Like, oh, once you get here, take a right, and here, and guide you to Kansas City.
Okay.
Is there someone we should give the vehicle back to, or are we going to keep the vehicle?
Oh no, this is a trade.
Okay,
Like
full-on
you're doing us a solid with this old deuce and a half. That thing will serve us far better than this Suburban did. And any of the people that came with you, they're welcome to stay. We have room in town. If they want to, if they're willing to work, they can stay as long as they'd like.
We'll kind of let you handle that one. I know they were on their way to Kansas City, so they might want to get there.
Yeah, we can always use the help.
But if they want to stay, they can stay. That's up to them.
and not Heather.
Would you boys mind taking me with you? I can't work, and I don't want to be here. I just want to get to my grandbabies.
Norris would just look at Willifred and say, "Hell yeah, Grandma, get on in."
Oh, good. I would really appreciate it if you didn't use that language, though. You're such a sweet boy. You don't need to use those foul words.
Sorry, Grandma. I'll try and do better.
You You are better than that.
He's a couple damaged brain cells.
I wasn't gonna say it. He's a sweet boy.
Well, he's nice. Just
Stupid.
Now, you don't say that about yourself.
It's okay, you sweet boy. Just get on in the truck.
She can say that, Ash. You can't.
And they'll
It's too late now.
they'll offer to let you guys stay there for the evening if you'd like. It's early afternoon, so you could probably make it to Kansas City by the time by nightfall. But he will tell you. I mean, if you get lost at all and you end up stuck in the dark, things get far more dangerous in the dark. And you would have noticed that there are spotlights all around this place in every 360-degree light. And one of those burns out, we got a breach in the fence every time.
what is it?
It's hard to describe. Imagine a cross between it's kind of like a monkey, but with like a wolf's face and patchy hair. We just call them crawlers.
Do they have really long front legs?
Yeah, that's the monkey thing. Honestly, I think they were like mutated wolves or something. I don't know.
I kind of seen some of those whenever we were
Freaks me out.
camped
Opposable
up.
thumbs.
a wolf with opposable thumb.
Yeah,
That sounds like
fucking
something
terrifying.
straight out of nightmares.
Yeah, don't let one of them get a hold of you.
I think that's what that's that noise we were hearing along the lines
railroads?
of yeah, out there at the railroads. They wouldn't come past the firelight.
You know, it's not like light very much.
It's always worked for us. As long as the spotlights stay lit, we don't have any issues.
I mean, that makes sense. Even the Orc Town had those barrels on fire and the
Oh,
hobo
Yeah, that's
fires.
fair.
Yeah, that would make sense.
There's nightmares out here. That's not the worst of it. Just don't get caught in the dark.
Are you guys feeling lucky, or do you just want to travel during the day?
I feel a little bit better during the day.
And they'll take you to one of these empty homes. Like there's nobody living in it, but it's still fully furnished. You can assume that the previous residents probably died.
It's not haunted, is it?
Sure as fuck hope not.
I know.
Jesus.
and you look out and just outside the fence there is a massive graveyard.
Oh God.
When I found this town on the map, like the only landmark for the town was the graveyard.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
I call dibs on the front room away from the graveyard. I might be tough, but I'm scared of ghosts.
I didn't sleep the best last night, but I wouldn't mind staying and just traveling safe in the morning. That way we don't have to worry about the crawlers if we do break down or something. Not saying we will, but I'd feel a little bit safer.
You know what? I want to get to Kansas City, but I say we should probably stay here too.
Yeah, we can offer to help out a little today.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and if you offer to help, he's gonna be just tickled fucking pink. He'll bring you out to the fields and kind of direct you. And oh yeah, I mean, if you guys do a good enough job today, we will give you a feast you'll never forget. It's all vegetables, but like I said, better than that replicator shit. That's why I left the city.
Should have a billboard for that in the city. Sick of replicator shit? Move here.
Then we get too many people.
Okay.
We're a small community on purpose.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll help out where you need us.
Okay, and yeah, they would put you to work in the fields, tilling, planting shit, stuff like that. I worked as a ranch hand, but I don't remember anything I fucking did.
Do you remember when they're all sitting down the Beetlejuice movie and they're sitting at the dining table and they start singing that song? I'm not gonna sing it, but yeah, maybe I should know.
And yeah, so you guys work the farm for the night or for the day, and that evening they lay out this beautiful spread of and they try their best to simulate meat with their vegetables, and they've gotten pretty good at it. It's better than a Beyond Burger.
Outside of game, I've still yet to try one of those.
I don't recommend it. But anyway, yeah, my brain will sidetrack going on to that. But yeah, you enjoy a great dinner, and you can safely sleep for the night without anybody having to stand watch. Or you may hear some gunshots in the night, but they'd warn you that that's pretty normal. In the morning, you wake up and you can load up the Suburban and head on your way. They'd give you some rations just in case, and full tank of gas.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
And we will just call it there for the night.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Thanks for listening, everyone, to Dubstep and Dragons. Join us next week as the group continues on their way into Kansas City. Don't forget to drop a like, follow, and subscribe. Feel free to let us know what your thoughts were on the episode as well. Until next time, we'll catch you next week.